Greetings from Axanta Business Solutions. In this video tutorial, we shall learn what are the customer related operations and their functions in Axanta Point of Sale. First, we will walk through the complete setup for enabling credit customers in the system. To begin, we will go to the Finance module. Now on the top, under Configurations, we will click on Settings. Then we will look for the Sales Credit Limit option and we will set this as True. We can apply a default credit limit for the customers. And we will save this. After that, we will go to the Retail module. Under Configurations, we will again go to the Settings. And we will enable this Allow Customer Credit option. This setting allows credit transaction by default for any customer created in the POS. So we will save this. Then we will go to the configuration, functionality profiles, and I will click on this record. And we will enable two more options. We will scroll down. First, I will enable this validate credit limit. This ensures the system checks the customer's assigned credit limit before completing the transaction. And we will select the show customer balance option. This option displays the customer credit amount and outstanding balance directly in the POS. With these configuration in place, we are ready to proceed with the credit customer operations. We shall create a customer from the back office. So first, we will go to the Retail module. Under Common Forms, we will click on Customers. And to create a new customer, I will click on New. Let's say that the customer name is Mr. Salim. Here we can enter all other details like phone number, email, address details, etc. As we know that this is a credit customer, so for that we will scroll down. We will go to this invoicing section and we will specify the partner limit. We can enter the credit limit for this customer. For example, it is 500. Now there is another option called check due invoices. When this option is enabled, the system will prevent any new transaction for that customer if they have any invoices that are overdue, meaning their payment due date has already passed. Below that, there is an option called stop credit. When this is selected, the customer will no longer be allowed to use credit for any transaction. So we will save this customer and we will go back to the POS now. This is the Axanta POS application. And to reflect the changes that we have made in the back office, we need to import the data. So first we will click on Manager's Task. We will click on Import Cloud Data option. And here we will select the customer's job. We will click on Run Job. Then we will select the system job and we will click on Run Job again. Please note that you may have to restart the POS application for the same. Now, after the jobs are imported, we will search for the particular customer that we have created in the back office. Now, searching for the customer is available by two options. First is by clicking on this icon. You enter the customer name here. For example, I enter Salim and this record is coming. Please note that you can search by mobile number here as well. And there is an import feature available here as well. For example, if you have added any customer in the back office, so you can import the job from here as well. Now, please note that the other option to search for a particular customer is through customer related and the customer search option. It is the same as the one we saw earlier. For example, you have selected any particular customer and you want to clear that particular customer. For example, you have selected this customer as mistake. So you can click on this icon here to remove that particular customer and the default customer will appear again. Now to proceed, we will select Mr. Salim as the customer. Now you can see here the system is showing that the credit limit for this customer is 500 KD. This is the same limit that we had specified in the back office. Below that, a balance is shown. This will be updated once we make further transactions. There is also a scenario when Mr. Salim has a purchase order with him and he wants to link a particular transaction to this purchase order document. So in order to do this, we will click on the customer related option. Then we will click on the customer reference and here you will enter the PO number. For example, and I will click on OK. Now let's make a transaction in which there is a split payment, that is half or a few payment in cash or card and the rest of the payment in credit. So first we will select the items. I'll specify the quantity as 6 and I will take another item. I'll specify the quantity is 2 for this. So now the total is 36 KD. Now Mr. Salim says that he will pay 6 KD of amount in cash and the remaining balance amount, that is 30 KD, he tells to enter it in his account as he is a credit customer. So let's see how we can do this. So first we will click on pay cash and here we will enter 6. If we click on OK, as you can see the balance amount is 30 KD. And in order to pay this via credit, we will click on customer related. We will click on this option called pay on account. Here it will take automatically the balance amount, which is 30 KD. Now I will click on OK and it will ask to print receipt. Now once this transaction is posted in the ERP, the balance of Mr. Salim will be updated. If I go and select the customer again, we'll wait for the transaction to post in ERP. Now, as you can see, the balance for Mr. Salim is updated as 30 KD. So this is how you process a transaction in credit. Now we shall see how the customer deposit option and the customer statement is used in Axanta point of sale. So as we know that Mr. Salim has a balance amount of 30 KD. So let's say after some days, Mr. Salim visits the store and says that he wants to pay 10 KD out of this balance amount. So in such cases, we will click on the customer related button. Then we will click on this customer deposit option. Here we will enter 10 and we will click on OK. Once we have clicked OK, this line would be displayed here on the screen. Now we will select payment method as cash. So I'll click on pay cash. You can pay by card as well. For this transaction, I'm selecting cash. So the 10 is entered here and I will click on OK. So a receipt will be printed automatically and the transaction is done. Similarly, the customer deposit operation can also be used in situations where the customer wants to give an advance amount for a particular order. Now we will see how the customer statement can be fetched from Axanta point of sale. So let's say you want to see the statement for Mr. Salim for the month of December. So let's see how we can achieve the same. So first we will select Mr. Salim as a customer. Then I will click on customer related. After that, I will click on this option, which is customer statement. Here we will specify the dates. I'll search Mr. Salim here again. After that, I specify the dates here. I've selected for the month of December. And if I click on OK, you can see here that for Mr. Salim in the month of December, you can see the opening balance was 0. After that, there was one transaction for 36 KD. This is the same transaction in which we entered the reference number as PO666. The same is recorded in this customer statement. After that, there was a cash transaction of 6 KD against this reference, and there was a 10 KD customer deposit for this month. After that, you can see the closing balance, which is 20 KD. So this is how you can see the customer statement in Axanta point of sales. Now we will see how to reconcile open invoices for the customers in Axanta point of sale. Let's take an example where there is a customer for which there are few open invoices that you initially gave them on credit. Later on, you receive payment from the customer against these invoices which you entered in the POS via customer deposit option. Now, in order to reconcile these payments against those open invoices, we will click on the customer related option. We will click on this option called Reconcile Open Invoices. I will select Mr. Salim as customer here. And you can see here all the invoices and payment entries. Now you can reconcile the open invoices with the customer payment. For example, I select this invoice of 36 KD. The original amount is 36 KD and the due amount is 30 KD. And I select this payment entry of 10 KD that we entered in the POS using customer deposit option. Now after selecting these two records, I click on reconcile option. Now the system is showing that the total of debit and the credit is not matching. So in this case, 20 KD will be kept open from this invoice. So I will click on yes, and it is successfully reconciled. So I will click on OK. Now this is done. Let's say the customer comes again and he paid 20 KD balance amount. So in this case, we will again go to the customer deposit option. First, I will click on customer related. I will click on customer deposit. I will select Mr. Salim again, and I will enter the deposit amount as 20 KD. I specify the payment method cash and I process this transaction. I will select Mr. Salim as the customer again. Now let's wait for the transaction to be posted in the back office so that the balance gets updated. Now, as you can see, the transactions are posted in the back office and the balance is updated. So now let's go to the customer related. I will again click on reconcile open invoices. I will select Mr. Salim as the customer. And now the system is showing the new payment entry of 20 KD. So we will select the initial invoice. Now, as you can see, the open amount is 20 KD after the previous reconciliation that we did. Now we will select the new payment entry. I will click on reconcile and it is saying successfully reconciled. So in this case, the payment amount and the invoice due amount was same. Now let's take a scenario where there is a credit transaction already done and the customer comes and pays you the exact amount. In that case, you don't want to go and register the payment via customer deposit, then come again and you have to reconcile the open invoices and all. So instead of that, we will use the pay and settle option. So let's take an example for that. Now for this case, I will select a different customer. I will select Mr. John here. Now, as you can see that there is a balance amount here. That means there is already a credit transaction for Mr. John. Now, in this case, as I mentioned, we will use the pay and settle option. So first I will click on customer related. Then I will go to the reconcile open invoices. After that, I will again select Mr. John here. And you can see here that this was the initial credit invoice. Now I will click on this pay and settle. If I click on this, the system is showing the same amount here. I will enter the payment method here. For example, cash only. I click on OK and the transaction is done. Now let's select the customer again. Let's wait for this transaction to be posted. Yes, so now the balance is updated. So in this case, for a credit transaction, we used pay and settle option from the reconcile open invoices part, where we selected the open invoice and we specified the amount directly. So the invoice is reconciled as well and the balance is updated. So this is how we reconcile open invoices in Axanta point of sale application. Now we will see the customer price history option in Axanta POS. Let's say that Mr. Salim has visited your store and he has purchased some of the products. And he says that the price that you are giving right now is different than the one you gave last time for a particular item. In this case, you need to see the customer price history. So here you can see that I have selected Mr. Salim as a customer and I have added a few items for these transactions. Now let's say that I want to see the price history for this particular item. So I will select this item. I will go to customer related, customer price history, And now the complete history for Mr. Salim is being shown here for the item that we had selected in the transaction. You can see here the system is showing the store in which this transaction happened. Please note that the price history will show the transactions across all the stores. Then there is the source and it is mentioned POS here. Please note that if you have an e-commerce website and the customer has purchased these products from the website, so the same will be displayed here in the source. Then the transaction date, the receipt ID, the item details, the quantity, the price you gave, and the discount details are shown here. There is a filter option available here as well. So if you want to filter the transactions for a particular period, you can set those dates and the system will show you for that particular item's price history in that specified date. Now for all these fields, there is a sorting option available on top. So you can use this to sort. Now there is a recall option available. So if you select any particular item and you click on recall, you can use this for refund. For now, we will go back to the transaction by clicking on this cancel option. I will end this transaction. Let's say if you want to see the complete price history of a customer, not just for a selected item. So in that case, we will go to the customer related. I will click on customer price history. I will select a customer. I'll specify the dates here. And this is the complete history of Mr. Salim, which is being shown here. Now there is an item search option available here as well. So if you click here, you can search for a particular item and that particular item's detail will be shown here. So this is how you can see customer price history in Axanta point of sale. Now we will see the customer credit refund in Axanta POS. There can be a scenario where you want to refund the customer with some of the amount that they initially gave to you as a deposit. So in this case, let's say that the customer has given 5 KD deposit as an advance payment for next sale order, but he is asking that amount back due to some reason. So for this scenario, we will select the customer. I will specify Mr. Salim. I'll select that customer. Then as you can see here, the balance is showing minus 5 KD. That means we have registered an advance payment of 5 KD here. Now I will go to the customer related. I will click on this option called customer account refund. And I will specify the amount here as 5 KD. I will click on OK. And I specify the payment method as cash. So once I process this transaction, if I select the customer again, let's wait for the transaction to be posted in the back office. I click on refresh. So now the balance is updated. So this is how the customer credit refund works. And these are all the various customer related operations in Axanta POS.